How's it going, everyone? In this video I want to talk about NVIDIA's GTX 1060. It's such a classic graphics card that if you haven't heard about it already, well, you're probably new to a lot of stuff that I'm going to talk about in this video. So right now is almost 4 years since NVIDIA's GTX 1060 has finally been released. And ever since, it's actually been known for pretty great performance in anything that you're doing, really, like video editing, gaming, like it'll do anything you want for the price that it's sold at. 4 years is actually a lot of time between a release of any computer part, really, which means it's about time we start evaluating if this purchase is really worth it today. So that being said, whether you're new to this whole thing and you're looking to get a new card or a computer, or if you've already been into this hobby for a while and you know what you're doing, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of value you can get out of this video. So let's get right to it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to present a lot of factors that I think you should take in consideration to help you narrow down your decision, if not land on a decision of if you should buy this graphics card or if you shouldn't, because in the end, it really all depends on you. Okay, so let's start with number one. I want you to ask yourself the question, how am I going to use it? I'm being totally serious. This might sound stupid, but unfortunately, if you don't take this into consideration, you might be the one that feels a little dumb. I'm gonna start with this. A lot of card manufacturers tend to make the GTX 1060 with dual fans or even triple fans, which makes this a bigger card, obviously. So just keep in mind that when you're buying things off websites like Amazon or Newegg, whenever your product says ATX, just remember that it's kind of like a standard size computer, and when it says MATX, it's just a smaller computer. You basically just want the motherboard in the case to match. Now, another thing that you should consider when you ask yourself this question is your power supply. The reason this is important is because cheaper graphics card will sometimes not support enough power to your graphics card. So GTX 1060s will come with a 6-pin power connector, which means if your power supply does not support this cable, you will be essentially screwed because, well, you don't have the power supply that could physically give your graphics card that power. If you don't ask yourself that question or you don't consider this advice carefully enough, you will end up having some problems that could be pretty detrimental once you're in the middle of building your computer. Okay, so the second thing I want to talk about is the performance. And what I'm going to do is basically take a GTX 1060 and find a competitive alternative. And hopefully that'll help you narrow down and compare those two options to something that you think is appropriate for you to buy. Okay, so here's the thing. I went on Amazon and from my very educated opinion, I believe a GTX 1660 Ti is essentially a great all-around replacement. It looks like their cheapest price is $280. This has 6 gigabytes of GDDR6 video RAM. For those of you who don't know, basically means this is going to run faster than any 1060, whether it's a 3 gigabyte or a 6 gigabyte. So the cheapest that you'll find a 1060 is a 3 gigabyte, and that's around $235. $235 to $280 is quite a significant leap for a graphics card, but this is why I included it. I think that decision kind of depends on you. If you really choose to just go for a 1660 Ti, that will usually give you around 20 to 40% more performance than a 1060, or if you should stick to a 1060. Okay, so speaking of a 1660 Ti, which is of course a lot more modern than a 1060, it brings me to my next point, which is your future-proof and upgradability. So you should base your decision on how long this is gonna last you in the long run. All right, so let's suppose that you bought a 1060. The problem is, yes, you bought a great value graphics card in the past and it worked fine up until newer games started being released. I mean, think about it. The 1060 is already 4 years old, basically, and if you're gonna buy one right now, there's gonna be a lot more things releasing. You're gonna end up bottlenecking your computer, and that's just not fun because it can't perform at the speed that it should. Okay, so this next point is considering your budget. I think this is one of the most underlooked aspects of it because yes, everybody does have a budget, but not everyone exactly knows how to control your graphics card within that budget. The rule of thumb when you're buying graphics cards is essentially buying something that's around 30 or 40% of your budget. So that means you want to make sure that this is going to be basically the most expensive part of your computer. That being said, this advice is going to help you not overspend, but definitely not underspend on the graphics card that you need, depending on your budget. Now, speaking of this, I do want to offer a piece of advice. It's buying used. I should probably give you a huge flashback all the way back to 2018. There was essentially a huge craze for Bitcoin. So essentially what people would do is buy graphics cards to mine the Bitcoin and whatever. They were just mining basically, and they bought graphics cards in bulk in order to help them do that. And the prices were very, very high. I'm talking like ridiculously high. So if you are buying used, keep in mind that some of those miners might just be reselling their GTX 1060s that have been used and are probably fried from all that mining. They might be less powerful, they might be louder, they might not work at all since they were just used for mining back in 2018. So the truth is, whatever you end up going with, say it's a 1060 or just any other graphics card, I'm here to give you the pointers or factors that are very important that you should look for, but it all comes down to your preferences. So take them with a lot of consideration because they should help out making your decision, because it's all about you at the end. That being said, thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you all in my next video. Peace. People will unfortunately get a sick graphics card. It looks great out of the box, and as soon as they're gonna put it in,